Hello, everybody. Good evening, and welcome to a very, very special show for the Hickford Construction Limited MG Metro Cup. Now, as you can see on the screen to my right is a man who made his debut at Mallory Park and made rather a splash. Ben Williams, welcome to the show. Ben, how are you, my friend?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm very good. A little bit sunburnt from the weekend. Of course,
Not the only
you won't
one.
have caught the sun because you were inside the metro all weekend. You had no chance to catch any sun at all, did you?
No, plenty of sun cream as well. Stop
Plenty of
that.
sun cream.
Mm.
Sun cream. Now, of course, we're going to touch on what happened at Mallory Park. But before we come to the action at Mallory, Ben, it was actually your first race weekend, wasn't it? As a driver, of course. So you've been out with the Metros many, many times before. So what prompted you to think, right, this is it, I'm going to go racing?
First time I ever saw it at 8 years old. I was like, I'm doing this one day. One day when the stars align, I'm doing this. No one's going to stop me. And Mallory Park was that weekend. Was the weekend that made it. Was the debut. Was the one that everything fell into place. And yeah, it was a great weekend.
Any particular reason for that Mallory Park weekend? Is Mallory Park a special track for you, or is it just that's the way kind of the cards fell?
Well, it was a mixture of both, really. It was good that the cards fell on that. That was just the way that everything worked out. With Dad wanting to do Alton and Dad
Yeah,
wanting to do Donington. I'm doing Mallory. I'm doing Snetterton. But as well, there was a track day on the Friday before, so I managed to get a little bit of practice in, only a little bit. Um, and also Mallory being such a short track, it's very easy to learn quite quickly with it only being 57 seconds a lap. You know, you're not.
yeah,
It's not like Alton Park where it's 2 minute 13 in one session. You may do 10 laps, whereas Mallory you could do 20
yeah.
easily 20, 25 laps. So it's very easy, very quickly to learn how the car works, learn how it handles, learn how to drive a car at speed. But yeah, Mallory's a great track as well. Looks quite boring as a simple little oval, but no,
Well, you
far
you
from it.
say you say that it's got the longest right-hander of any track in the UK, I believe, if my facts are right, and it's
Hmm.
got that little kink round to the left and up into the hairpin. So it's a challenge, and we've got some wonderful onboard footage to show, not just yet, but in a little bit. We've got you taking us around on a full lap of Mallory Park, so people can actually really see what it is like behind the wheel. It's a lot more technical than I think than people just. It's not just you don't just turn right, do you?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. There's three. You've only got three big areas to concentrate on, but they are so important for a quick lap. So important for a quick lap. Just a hair too wide at Gerrard's, understeer. You know, same with the S's. You get it wrong through there, you understeer on the exit again. You've got the grass there, so you have to back off and try and go around the second part. Same with the hairpin. It's a massive braking zone, and it's the slowest part on the track by far, probably on any racing circuit.
Yeah.
So there's maybe 2 miles an hour difference there can lead to a huge gain down the straight. So every little bit you can get out of those three big areas can make a huge difference to the entire lap.
And of course, before you get onto the main straight, you have to go through what is probably the best named part of any circuit in the UK, the Devil's Elbow, don't you? But that's just flat out, isn't it? Easy.
It's yeah. At the start on Friday at the track day, it was a lift, but towards the end, side by side, I won't spoil it. Well, no, it's not on the last lap. It was second to last lap with Mark. Side by side, Devil's Elbow, flat. That's quite scary.
Well, I'm pleased to say I actually got a bit of that as well. I didn't start it just on the last lap, started it just at the end, just before
Right.
that. So we'll actually get to see a little bit of that soon. So let's come to the actual on-track action at Mallory. So qualifying, it must be quite nervous for you where you sat in that assembly area where you're a bit like, ooh, here we
It
go.
was, yeah. Well, it wasn't just that. It was the heat. It was just the baking heat because full fireproof gear, just baking. Go out, and we were mixed with, I think it was the classic something or other.
Yeah, I saw
So it
that from the
wasn't
photo.
just us. Yeah, it wasn't just us. So qualifying was busy, very difficult to get clean air. And then on the final lap, I got one clean lap, and that was the lap that put me on third. which was
Unbelievable.
yeah.
Unbelievable.
As soon as I saw the clear lap just on the last lap, I knew it was towards the end of the session. I thought, I'm gonna fully send this now, and it was a surprisingly clean lap.
Well, let's have a look at those qualifying times, shall we? There they are. As we can see, obviously, Mark Eels put on pole position, Dan Williams in second, Ben Williams in third, Les Tyler fourth, and Robbie Kenning. Now, you weren't the only debutant at the weekend. Of course, Robbie Kenning was also making his debut, and we spoke to him last week, of course, in a live show, getting ready for the weekend. And now, of course, we wanted to get you on, Ben, to talk about the post event and how it was, and that was a cracking performance by Robbie as well, wasn't it?
It was. It certainly was. Brand new car, brand new driver. Everything was completely new, and he put it on fifth. I mean, I don't know anyone else that's built a car first ever race and has managed to put it that high up on a grid. I have to say, it's hats off to Robbie. He's built a good car. He's got some work to do before Donington, apparently, but yeah, he did really, really well, and really well in the race. I have to say, he raced well in the second one, definitely.
We must give Rob Jessup a mention as well, because it was only his second ever race weekend. Isn't it nice to see that? Look, 18 Metros. What a wonderful grid that is, Ben. It's really, really filling out, isn't it, the Metros at the minute, which is what we like to see.
Most definitely.
Right, let's come to race one, because race one was quite special, wasn't it? Just talk us through what happened with race one, Ben.
Oh, well, there was one. It was one busy 20 minutes. Let's put it that way. It was mental. Tried to, because I'd done plenty of laps, so I understood the track pretty well. But the one thing I'd never done was a start, and that's the biggest, probably one of the most important things of the entire 20 minutes is that start. And it wasn't the best. It wasn't good, but it wasn't bad. It was all right. So dropped back a little bit, settled into it a little bit. You know, there was a bit of carnage unfolding in front of me, so I thought, not getting involved. First race, dropped back a little bit. Once everything had settled out, I then thought, right, now's the time to get the hammer down. So a few laps in, overtook Phil on the into the hairpin, which was a full send, late on the brakes, side by side through Devil's Elbow. Then John came flying past me into Gerard's. That was quite entertaining. And then again, settled into the race a little bit more. Was happy with where there was in the gap. Phil started to catch up on me now with him being behind me. And then a few laps later, I see Mark off and then Dan's off, and they were first and second. And all of a sudden, I find myself back in third place. And I'm thinking, panic! Right, calm down. It's okay. It's all right. Don't worry. Again, so there was Les, Tyler, John Moore, me, and Phil for a good few laps, and that was a cracking battle with Phil. I was maybe a little bit defensive, but it's racing. We shook hands after the race, and it was all just, yeah, no, let's do it. That's fine. But yeah, unfortunately, Phil blew his engine up sort of about 3/4 into the race, which was a shame for Phil. It was a really good race up until that point, but these things happen, and he wasn't deterred by it, so it's unfortunate, I have to say. But anyway, cracked on with the race. John overtook Les, so I was then behind Les, and I was going for an overtake into the hairpin on Les, and I looked up and I saw the yellow flags for Phil, and I thought, oh, look, this is bad. Don't overtake on the yellow flags. I had to back right off, and then again that allowed Les to get a bit further ahead of me, so I lost the gap that I made up then. But again, not deterred. Keep your head down, crack on. Again, a few laps later, Les is a bit slow on the outside of Gerard's, and I think, ooh, let's go around the outside of Gerard's here. So I managed to overtake him, and just as I did that, his engine let go as well.
Oh no!
Unfortunately, which was a shame. But then that left some oil through the S's, which I didn't realise where it was until the next lap when I came round, and I had quite an off. I didn't spin. I managed to keep it in a straight line, but I had quite an off. So at that point, I was in second.
Wow.
Yeah, it's just it's the heady heights, that second place. So So I was like, right, let's catch John. Let's get John now. Let's go for the win. So I was catching John, catching. But behind me was Mark now, and he was on a charge, obviously after the spin. And I could see him in my mirrors getting closer and closer, and I was getting closer to John as well. And I was thinking, please, just let it hold out. Caught up to the back of John. Mark then caught up to me, and we had a great three-way battle for a good fair few laps. And me and Mark had a good 2 laps where we were very, very close to each other. And then just on the second to last lap, Mark overtook me, which was a shame. But again, saw the big gap after Mark had overtaken me to Dan, and I thought, looked down at the clock, 18, 19 minutes. Do you know what? Back off. 3rd place. Happy with it. And then on the last lap, hit the oil again. Just tired, fatigue, slightly too wide onto the oil. Nearly lost it again, but managed to keep it in a straight line to bring it home 3rd.
Well, we're about to see proof of that, because I'm pleased to say we have managed to pull the footage of your final lap at Mallory Park in race 1. Elaine, if you could play the video, please. Just watch this. It's a cracker. What did you say when you came over the line? Can you say it before 9 o'clock?
No, I can't say it before the watershed, I'm afraid. But I was quite overjoyed with it. Let's put it that way. I was rather pleased.
Now, on that last lap, you mentioned there you had that moment, didn't you? Were you thinking, oh my God, no, not on the last lap, please?
Yeah, as soon as I hit it, I knew exactly what I'd done, and I thought, panic stations, just cut right. I've got a gap behind me. Just get it under control. Ease off a little bit. Just finish. But yeah, it was certainly a scary moment.
Well, I've got the race 1 classifications here, so we can have a little look at that. As we can see, of course, John Moore, Magical Moore, picking up the win, as we can see. Mark Eels, despite the spin, getting himself back up to 2nd place. And as you can see over the line, there wasn't a lot in it, was there? And well, between the 3 of you, really. Dan Williams recovering to 4th, Tony Howe in 5th, Tim Davies in 6th, Tim Shooter, double winner, of course, at Brands Hatch in 7th, David James in 8th, Terry Wood in 9th, Pete Coleman in 10th, Kyler coming in 11th, Andrew in 12th, and yeah, a few retirements, unfortunately, there. But it was certainly exciting, wasn't it? And of course, the thing is, though, Benny had to do it all over again, and you'd set the bar pretty high then, hadn't you? So what were your expectations going into race 2?
More of the same. Well, that's what I was hoping anyway. I knew I could get an okay start, so I thought, we could be going for another podium here. I knew Dan and Mark would be on the charge, with Dan starting behind me, or next to me, I should say, on the grid. So I knew they would both be on a charge. So I thought I would be happy with 4th. It didn't quite pan out that way, but I was happy to again finish another race in a relatively good position, all things considered.
Yeah, you certainly. I mean, look, here's the results from race 2, as we can see, and this time Eels got his wheels in motion for race 2 to pick up the win. I had to get that in. I'm so sorry. But seventh place, like you said, certainly not to be. I mean, I don't know what your expectations were coming into the weekend, but you'd have been delighted with a third and a seventh, wouldn't you, at the start of the weekend?
If I was told on Saturday when I was stuck on the side of the M62 with a broken down car, I would have just laughed at you.
We have to say that broken down car was not your Metro, though, was it? It was your.
Yeah, it was another Longbridge vehicle. Let's put it that way. It was my ZR, but that's yet to be repaired. But yeah, no, it was a stressful day Saturday, so I was definitely head down. Let's take all my anger out on track from Saturday. But yeah, no, race 2 was the start was what scuppered me for the race.
Yeah.
But I was happy to have another great second race and just enjoy it. Just enjoy it. I wasn't going into the weekend. I was not bothered about finishing position, and I'm still not bothered about finishing position. I've got a trophy and a driver of the race. I'm very happy with that, but I'm also more happy with finishing and enjoying my first ever racing experience. And that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. You can keep your trophies. You can keep everything. Yes, I can't take them where I can. I'm not going to say no, but I had a great race, and that's all I could ever ask for.
Well, you've actually just mentioned the thing I was about to say. Actually, of course, you did get driver of the race, and there you are, look, with your trophy, with your third place trophy there, and of course that lovely the driver of the race. In fact, you've got it right next to you, haven't you? Show us. Could you show us on the camera?
Indeed. There we are. There it is.
To prove it's the real thing in the flesh. It's right there. Now, of course, the MG Metro Cup does move on now to Donington Park. We've got a big weekend coming up at Donington Park next month, haven't we? But you're not driving, are you, though, Ben?
No, unfortunately not. But the agreement was with Dad, because it's not actually my car; it's Dad's car. That we would alternate races. So he's doing Donington. He loves Donington. That's his favourite track. So he's fired up to do Donington, and then I'm doing Snetterton at the end of the year. But I will say, thanks to Dad for Mallory and doing all the work on the car. He just turned around to me and said, "Look,
brilliant.
Don't touch the car. Just drive it. I'll sort everything else out. You just get in it and drive it as fast as you can." And I did. And like I say, I could not have done it without Dad's help. I've helped him for a good fair few years and helped him get organised and get the car ready for races. But Mallory, it was Dad's support that definitely, calmed my nerves, and I didn't have to worry about the car. I just got in it and I just drove it, and that was brilliant.
Brilliant stuff. Fantastic. I actually have a bit of a question about your car. Here it is. Is there a local paintball centre close to you that you've upset or something?
Yeah, there is. Yeah.
It's a cracking livery, actually, I have to say. It really certainly stands out, doesn't it? And black and green, it always looks good, doesn't it? Always.
Yeah. Does need
right.
A little bit of a tidy up, though.
No, it's fine. It's fine. In fact, there's some wonderful liveries, actually. I'm a big fan of Kyla's livery. I think I love that little honeycomb design. I think it looks really cool. Right, Ben, thank you so much for sharing your debut race weekend. It's been a real pleasure. And like you said, it's been a real family affair as well, hasn't it? You can keep your trophies and stuff, although you still want to win them, don't you? Because who doesn't? But a lovely atmosphere in the paddock as well. And of course, we will be live with you guys at Donington Park as well. Now, if you do want to find out more about Hickford Construction Limited MG Metro Cup, there is a link to the website in the body of this broadcast. So do click it; it'll take you straight through to the homepage. Also, if you can't find that, it's just running across the bottom as well. No, it's going that way, isn't it? Yeah. There it is, www.mgmetrocup.co.uk, or comment below, send us a private message over at the MG Metro Cup on Facebook. We're on Instagram, aren't we, Ben? We're on Twitter, you name it, we're there. So do get in touch with us if you want to find out more about potentially getting involved with racing with us, or just generally have a question. Ben, I'm going to let you go. Thank you so much. I will definitely catch up with you. You're going to be, although you're not racing, you are coming to Donington, now, aren't you?
Absolutely, 100%. I've got to repay the favour to Dad now.
Good. Well, he's got a lot to live up to now. So, Steve, if you're watching this, you've got to finish at least second at Donington. Otherwise, you probably never hear the end of it, I think. Lovely. Ben, look, I'm going to let you go. Thanks so much for your time this evening. And to everybody, thank you for watching. Of course, we'll be live with the MG Metro Cup next month at Donington Park. Thank you, and we'll see you then.